Hello and welcome to the Learn to Wargame audio podcast. This is episode 7. I am Brandon, or PG Mutilus on the forums, and I'm still playing Khador so far.
I'm Max. I lurk on the forums, and I usually play Crix and other various things I waste my money on.
I'm Jeremey. I go by Lord Fool. I play Protectorate.
I'm Andrew. I go by Garthakian. I play Circle, and that's about it.
And joining us via Skype this week is Jason Tate.
I am Tulsey on the forums, and I play Warmachine.
Yay, Warmachine.
You lose every game of Warmachine you play.
That's probably true. All right, so this week, why don't you go ahead and give us your topic and why you think it's a good idea to dojo for this?
I guess my topic this week is an underrated caster, which is Axis from Convergence of Cyriss. I believe he is a higher-end caster, and he just hasn't been given enough credit due to the fact of being in a faction with Mother, Father, and Syntherian. And so I have a list for him that I've been experimenting with, and it's tilted a lot of people.
All right. I am curious to see your list. As always, we've always built our lists separately and haven't shared them, so we'll see what different minds come up with. I'm pretty sure you're the exact opposite of what I've built, so why don't you go ahead and share your list, and then we'll go around the table and share ours, and see how bad they are.
Okay. My list starts off with Axis, and I am running him in tier, and I go to tier 4 with him. So I have 2 Conservators with him for the protection, along with the Corollary, 4 Enigma Foundries, 2 units of Clockwork Angels, 2 units of Obstructors, 2 units of Reductors, and that's the list.
All right, so since no one knows what any of those words meant, why don't you just summarize each one and run through it again?
Okay, what the Conservator is the Shield Guard Jack.
Right.
So it's one of the floaty jacks that can take one of the shots. The Corollary, everybody should know what the Corollary does by now, because it's probably the most powerful caster attachment in the game.
Yeah, easily.
Enigma Foundries they're absolutely broken. They can bring back 3 small-based models a turn, or 1 medium-based model a turn, and with 4 of them, you bring back 12 models a turn.
Yeah. That
are kind of hard to dislodge anyway in Convergence. Clockwork Angels are little flying chicks. The Obstructors are the small-based Shield Guard unit, and the Reductors are the small-based spray guys. We call them spray bots.
Yep. All right. That is definitely opposite of what I took. So obviously with your list, you're going to try and just jam them out, right?
It really likes to go first, because if you go first, you have to think that, let's go over what his tier brings you. His tier
gives you the extra Enigma Foundries and a point reduction cost.
Yeah, you can go up to FA4 on Enigma Foundries. They only cost 2 points instead of 3 points. You also, all of your little small base guys will get advanced deployments, and you get to make rec markers 20 inches out, up to 20 inches out, for Axis to play in.
Yeah, get some cover up there. Gosh, it's pretty much just a small base infantry spam combined with his feet to slow people down. And I don't know if we said it already, but we are trying to focus mainly on scenario, but in general, just try and make a good list. All right, so...
I was going to say, because if you go first turn with this list, your models are 23 inches up the board for anything with the Clockwork Angels, which are a little bit further. Yeah, so you're at the midpoint, turn 1. At turn 2, you have Axis up there. He pops feet and charges. And so that gives your little spray bots, they have a 13-inch walking threat, and your Shield Guard guys have a 12-inch charging threat, which is their advanced deployment line. So you have completely jammed them out. Right. And then with you plus 2 strength, plus 2 speed, and then minus 2 strength, minus 2 speed, Axis is just sitting in the middle of the board going, look at me score all these points.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and run through my list real quick. I tried to go for more of a heavy hitter list because I like their heavies. So what I went with Axis out of tier. I took 2 Diffusers, which are the 3-point Hunter's Mark Jacks, and 3 Inverters for the countercharge on the auto knockdown weapons. I thought that might be kind of tilting to some people trying to do heavy trades against countercharging auto knockdown. Corollary to extend the feet range, and obviously just good support. I took 3 Galvanizers as kind of like screen guys to protect the heavies. And then I took 2 units of Reflex Servitors, or I guess groups of solos, which are the countercharging detonation guys. A full unit of Reciprocators, which is the shield wall medium-based unit to kind of help push people back and keep them at bay. And then one of the little Arcno guides, the Algorithmic Dispersion Optifexes, just in case he needs something, and I had 1 point to fill. I am not very experienced with Axis at all, so I'm pretty sure this is probably awful, but this is what I came up with that looked fun. Max, what did you bring?
I went with Axis, the Harmonic Enforcer.
Good choice.
The Corollary, also a good choice. Double inverter, 1 diffuser, the conservator, because I actually think that Jack's pretty powerful with him. I really wanted 2, but not with double inverter. I thought it was too many points. 2 Enigma Foundries, Steel Soul Protector, 1 unit of Optifex Directive, Reductors, full unit, and Reciprocators, full unit.
Okay. Anything you feel your list does differently that or might be good at? I do notice that you kind of combine my list and Jason's list, so you have a little bit of the recursion with some heavy hitters.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of the recursion. Yeah,
it seems like a good mix of the 2 we've already gone over. Jeremy, what did you bring?
Let's see here. I started off with Axis. 2 Ciphers, 2 Galvanizers, an Inverter, Corollary, 2 groups of Reflex Servitors, full unit of Eradicators, and a full unit of Obstructors. So kind of just a mid all-around list.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Andrew, wow us with your wows.
Wow.
Wow.
All right,
As the resident player.
Yeah. As the only Convergence player at the table.
I haven't even played a game yet because...
Yeah.
Crap, does that make me the expert?
Oh, God.
I think it does.
You did play 2 BattleBox games.
All right, so we got Axis here. We took a Corollary. I've got 1 Conservator, 1 Inverter, and 1 Diffuser. And then I put 2 Enigma Foundries, a unit of Attunement Servitors, Algorithmic Dispersion Optifex because I had a point left, 2 full units of Eradicators because I really like those models.
Are those the spray guys, right?
No, they're the ones with the dual bucklers.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so when they dual buckle, they go to arm 17. A full unit of Obstructors and an Optifex Directive.
So can you tell us why it's so bad?
Because I made it.
Oh, okay.
So it's got some recursion in it, although I'm more focused on recurring medium guys since I put 2 full units of Eradicators in there.
Do you think it's worth not going tier? That's always, every time I look at his tier list, I'm like, well, you basically can't take medium-based dudes because 4 Enigma Foundries is just too tempting.
Right.
But I'm curious if it's worth the trade-off.
I couldn't answer that question, Jason.
Right.
Probably
We need more.
answer that
We need
question better.
playtest games.
Yeah. Well, I need some stuff put together.
So Jason,
it's pretty hard to remove 10-man units most of the time completely, and then when you can put all of them back, and then some, it's really hard to deal with. I know how bad Mechanothralls can be, and they have worse stat lines than those models, and only half as many come back. Tier might be the way to go.
I think it probably is, especially if you're trying to do the jam out list. Jason, did anything strike your interest that we came up with?
They all strike my interest because I want to see what everybody else thinks and plays. I've written every list down, and I want to get them on the board. I will play every single one of these lists at least probably 5 times just to see how they... I think Eradicators, I love them.
Yeah.
I'm really, really liking them in Lucant right now.
Yeah, I think that's where they sing, though, because deflection's amazing on them.
Yeah.
They go to armor 20 walking up the field.
Yeah.
And positive charge, they get silly. They're a very, very underrated unit, just like the Perforators, which are the ones that have the armor-piercing shot. I think Syntherian is going to love them a lot.
I think those are really interesting. They seem harder to keep alive.
Can you, Jason, can you explain to me who wrote Lucant's spell list and why they thought it was balanced? I really want you to explain that to me in English. Yeah. Because he couldn't.
Yeah. DC... This was why DC was hired on, was to make this force, is what we have come to believe. And it's an amazing book. And I think we're just now really getting into how amazing it is. And especially Lucant, he is a top 5 caster in the game. I know you and I have argued over that before. He can really tilt the wrong matchup, especially Legion. Legion
a hard
time with Lucant.
Legion's totally happy. There's way more like Arm 25 heavies walking around. Yeah, they're totally excited about that.
They love that.
Watch Lilith 2 try and kill Lucant. It's just, like, funny. All right. Would you think that you would still want to stick with your list, or do you want to try and dojo a different list with everybody here?
Well, it's kind of hard not having other Convergence players.
Right, I agree. I mean, that's definitely a hole in a lot of metas right now, I feel.
Now, I did love when they first came out that almost everybody bought something. And got into it, and then they ended up selling it. So I got it. I got a full force at a huge discount.
I was looking at a lot of like groups going up, and it's like, oh look, it feels like I don't even need to buy them because they're so easily available.
It is a high skill cap. I think it's a high entry. Like Crix has a high skill cap, but it has a low point of entry.
Exactly.
They have casters that are very easy to play. Every game that I play with Convergence, when I'm done, my head hurts. It's just, there's just so much. It's like the Minoff Scorn synergy expounded on.
Yeah.
You have to really think before you move any model on.
Well, they're pretty much the only faction that has synergy buffs built into their core mechanics, like the induction. Like, nothing else comes close to that just right out of the box. Like, you have to understand placement models and everything before you can even play a battle box game.
They're so focus efficient that it's amazing. It's like playing a Horde's Warmachine army.
All right, so I guess let's go with your list right now. Let's go through our standard pairing matchup that we have written down here. Let's vote good, bad, or playable, and then if we all disagree, we can discuss it in a orderly fashion and see what we think, and then maybe talk about pairings to fix all the bad matchups, or if we think the list might need a little bit of a tweak to get better. So starting where we always do, Cygnar, Haley 2. Do you think that is good, bad, or playable, Jason?
It depends on if she has Stormwall.
I always assume one Stormwall with Haley, usually.
Now, I wouldn't play her because my Cygnar drop is Lucan.
Lucan, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which means it's totally fine if it's a terrible matchup, because you've got it covered in your pairing.
I want to see it against Haley too, because I would be on her so fast.
I
she would have
agree.
to beat top of two.
Yeah, you're feeding on one or two depending on who went first.
She has to beat one or two, so I'm making her pop her feet very early, which then semi-hampers her. It's a complete melee force. I don't have to worry about
D-Cell
that.
does nothing.
And I will be in her. This list is in your business turn 2. Like, the whole army is there, especially with Angels. Angels can get to your back edge.
Yeah.
Top, bottom of 2.
So it's really if she can Deadeye enough and just gunline everything down before it can charge her, but probably not, because you can just run and engage and then refill a full unit.
And can she take off more than 12 models a turn?
She can.
She can board position you with covering fires, which your infantry can't deal with.
Correct.
That's the only question. Obviously it's probably in the end who has more skill with their caster.
I think it is a playable.
It's probably playable, but I went bad personally.
I would like it just because of Lucan.
Right.
Yeah,
Haley,
exactly. That's not what you're going to play that list against. But
So Jason, you think bad or playable?
I think it's semi-playable.
It's on the bad side of playable.
It's on the bad side of playable.
That's what I had.
I would not like it if I was locked into that list.
Okay, so I'm gonna put playable.
I'd go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go playable. I think she would eventually have a problem, because they would really be if she could scalpel out the Enigma Foundries with big guns or not. I doubt it, but it is probably possible. If she gets one or two of them down early, it goes bad.
Yeah, it would go south.
Yeah. All right, so Kane 2.
I don't want any part of Kane 2.
No part of Kane 2?
I put that as bad.
You don't think Axis could stay alive versus Kane?
I do not. I don't think even at full camp, and that's why
I think he can. You have multiple shield guards.
2 shield guards plus full camp, I think you're all right. Because he's a 14-17, right?
He is 14-17.
He's a 6 focus?
6 focus.
So you camp to a 23. Yeah, I think you're all right.
You're all right.
Kane if Eris hits you, whole different story. But you have 2 shield guards.
Run shield guards.
You have two shield guards as well, but I think Kane can take off more troops than I can put back.
That's what I was going to say.
Especially if he has long gunners.
If we're talking like Kane with long gunners, totally different story.
I would have to run first turn, run second turn, and try to engage as much as possible and just hit him on this side of the board.
Yeah, if you run on the second turn, you're going to be, that's 30 inches total with AD. You're 1 inch from his deployment line. Those guys have reach, right?
If I feet and run, they even run. They go.
It's plus 2 speed, yeah. Okay, so you're in his base deployment zone on bottom of 2.
I'm in his first
or top of 2.
Zone top of 2.
Yeah, I think you're all right. I think I'm going to put playable here. Because the 2 shield guards, as long as you play smart, I think takes the assassination off the table.
He even has a problem dealing with armor 20.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't,
and that's if he misses one. If he misses one in there, then his math goes completely out the window. I
mean, I'm saying it's playable. I mean, it's still a skill versus skill game.
And I would really hate Kane 1.
Yeah, Kane 1.
Kane 1 would be awful.
Yeah, I would just not even put a score down. That's a loss.
Atrocious.
Siege.
I'm not too awful worried about Siege.
I actually put good in this one as well. Same reason he has a problem assassinating you, because you have the shield guards and you just have a good stat line. And I don't think the feat's as important.
I think he has a really easy time removing Enigma Foundries.
That's probably true, actually.
Armor 9 on the feet turn, not so hot.
10 boxes? Gosh.
And then after that, it becomes a serious issue when you don't have recursion. I think it's a bad
could they
matchup.
hang far enough back to be safe?
Maybe. It depends on the siege list.
Yeah. No, I'm going to drop that down to playable. I had it at good.
I had put it as playable.
And one thing we're forgetting, Axis is also going to be in the middle of a wreck marker.
That's true.
Yeah,
with cover.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the assassination.
Yeah,
I would
I'm
be
not
worried
worried.
about the actual attrition of that game with Siege, in my opinion. Because Siege is killable literally by your conservators and Axis.
Mm-hmm.
None of that infantry is going to kill him.
Yeah.
No.
But he'll be engaged like the entire fucking game if he doesn't play back.
And if it hits, well, this list is going to gum him up.
That's what I'm thinking.
I've got 2 scenario points.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to have to play very, very, very hard. And it's hard to go through.
He's going to have an
40
amazing turn 1.
46 models.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's playable. I think all of Signar pretty much is playable, I think is what we put down. Okay. Crix, Lich 2. Bile Thralls, please? He can't excarnate you, though, right? They don't give...
They're living.
They are living?
For the purposes of soul tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're called constructs,
They are all constructs.
Yes.
so they do not grant a grunt.
Okay.
Yep.
That changes it a lot.
Unless you
Yeah.
get Axis. Axis is the living
angels
model.
Well, the angels are living. They're not
That's true.
constructs.
Oh.
Are they? No,
No,
they're
they're
constructs.
constructs.
Absolutely,
I was
they're
gonna say-
constructs.
They're robots,
Yes.
aren't they?
Yeah.
They are clockwork
Oh,
vessels.
that's
Okay.
right. Now I'm thinking of the actual Aurora.
Okay.
Yeah, Aurora is living.
Yeah.
So, does he have enough attacks in that list? Or could he get to you and be... I don't know.
I would say
Because he could just screen the Bile Thralls.
jamming that hard means that Bile Thralls will be in play whether or not Excarnate's
Right.
a problem.
That's what I'm thinking.
And no guns to remove them is also a terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's any worse than playable, though.
Yeah. The sprays
Because
will do
he doesn't
work.
have an easy way to try to get to Enigma Foundries.
If it's a Lich list with Satixis Raiders, it might get a little bit worse, because he could jam your jam. So you could slow down your incoming force and get into the zone at least. I don't know. That's probably playable. I did have bad originally, but that was when I was playing my heavies list. Denegra 1.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
Her feet really hampers me trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then that
so
would
does
give
your
her-
feet, though. Your feet hampers them getting anywhere as well.
I think
It doesn't hamper the guns, though.
it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about gunline list, she will kill 25 models on her feet turn, probably. So it's if you can recover from that. It just seems bad because that's just the feet turn, and he has basically no reprisal because he can't charge.
And that comes down to keeping the foundries alive and playing what I call the Morvana 2 tactic, where you keep a couple models back behind you.
Right. Yeah, you keep your recursion moving, but he has recursion too because most of the gun Denny lists run min Mechanothralls with 2 surgeons. So even after you've eaten through everything, you've got Mechanothralls coming forward, which aren't great, but they kill your chodes. I don't know. I think it's probably bad, but it might be playable.
I think most things against
Yeah.
anyone is bad.
What do you think, Jason?
I think it's a bad match. I do not want to drop this list against the Negro one.
Yeah.
I don't want to drop this list against Crix in general, but
Right.
I have to.
Do you think other than Mother, do you think there's a Crix matchup in Convergence?
Syntherion.
No,
I think it's
with
Mother,
Axis, I think Axis is your other Crix drop, but this list I don't quite know, but all because of Razor Wall. Razor Wall can hurt a lot of things.
it can.
You get vengeance through Razor Wall. My obstructors can hold Bane Thralls because they don't have reach. I can get into the Bane Thrall, keep out, then drop a Razor Wall in between us. Well, they can't move away or I get a free attack. They can't move toward me or they take their point of damage.
Right.
And so I've got them kind of locked in there. So I like Axis a lot against Crix, but once the battle engine comes out, then that's when I take him out of tier.
Yeah.
Because him and the battle engine love each other.
Probably. All right. So moving on, Gorshade 3.
Are we talking about just a normal Gorshade 3 list or Tom Guan's Gorshade 3 list?
Tom Wands is like 3 units of Cav, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a silly, nasty list.
Do you think that'd be better than a standard against this list?
I don't want any part of that Tom Guan list because it gets on me.
He's just like a different kind of little magic man, though. Like everything he plays just turns to gold.
It does. I think he has broken open Gorshade 3 right now. Especially after watching him play it at Daikon, there was just like magic happening, but he gets it.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason he didn't win that is because Lich 2 is just not a good matchup.
Yes, and he also when he was playing in the Masters, he forgot that Death Jack had.
Yeah, I heard about that. POW 18, yeah. He's playing him at POW 16.
Every time you see him, ask him if he counts 18. That would make me happy.
Yeah. By the way, we have that game on our YouTube. We did record that game.
Paid 12 points for a POW 16 character jack, I would cry.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Behemoth's only POW 12.
He is.
Okay.
And he costs a point more.
He does.
He needs to be at least PAL 15.
All right. So what do you think about regular Gorshade lists? I don't think it's uncommon to see a Kraken with him, but I don't know if it's the standard. I haven't seen him enough.
Yeah, I haven't seen him enough to know what he's capable of. I could try to play it out, but I think I would be on the downhill swing.
Do you think if he could run an incorporeal model within the AoE range of Axis, you think you lose that turn? Because he could potentially stationary your shield guard, so you don't get to shield guard, siphon bolt you like however many times he can, and then shoot you with the Kraken to finish you off.
Yeah, I think that will. Cause my one biggest problem in this list is that I don't have any magic weapons outside of Clockwork Angel.
Oh, that would be a bad matchup.
And I don't have
he loves
any
incorporeal.
access, because Axis does his weapons aren't magical.
Yeah. Well, the little mechanic guys can make your jacks magical, right?
They can make any. They can make
anything.
That's right, because they're all
Yeah.
constructs.
They're all construct. Well, individual models.
Right.
But I don't have them in this list.
Okay. All right,
But
so I'm going to leave that
In
at
that,
bad,
I would have to keep a unit of angels back behind me, knowing that could happen, so that they could come up and take care of that incorporeal model.
So, the angels have magic?
Yeah,
The angels have magic
both their
weapons.
attacks, their guns, and
I didn't know that.
but you can
Yeah.
things that don't have outs for stealth or can also be a problem because you can also make incorporeal stupid annoying with occultation.
Yeah, occultating like Ghost Riders. Or not Ghost Riders, Black Banes. It's pretty hard to deal with them. Alright, well I'm saying bad on Gorshade
Yeah.
3.
I had bad as well.
Max?
Yeah.
I think it's playable.
It's Crix. It's bad.
Bad. Butcher 3. Butcher's gonna kill some dudes.
Butcher's going to kill some dudes by himself. He's going to kill a lot of dudes. So it would be a matter of
Can you kill Butcher with this list?
no.
Would he just say, I Flashing Blade once, use my initiative to clean up, go?
Yeah. Now, I think Axis could eventually kill Butcher with this list
Before Axis dies? Or
before Axis dies. I mean, it would have to be some pretty decent rolling on my part. But I don't know if Butcher can keep up with the recursion mechanic that he's not going to be able to get to the Foundry.
No, well, not for a while, because he can Flashing Blade before moving, advance, Flashing Blade again, Energizer, Flashing Blade again.
Yes.
If you're not threatening him, that's what he can do. And he could probably kill 15 models doing that.
But that's
Yes.
a 3-model gain.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's also before impending doom. Like, we're depending on how ballsy he's getting, and that's also just him. That's before his army's done anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think any list almost is playable against Butcher 3 because he always puts himself in a chance of being diced.
Right. In Convergence, you have the focus to put heavies on him. Like, it can always happen.
Yeah.
I actually originally
And on
listed...
feet turn that
Especially with the counter charge.
Right.
on feet turn that shield guard jack is POW 19. That's not bad.
Yeah. I originally actually listed this as a good matchup, but that's because I had 3 heavies that were going to be beaters, so... I don't know.
POW 19 if he kills something, which, I mean,
Well,
hopefully.
you could pretty easily place that within 3 inches or 5 inches of your chodes that are going to be dying.
And I would have to play a little differently, because this list is built to feet turn 2.
Right.
Right.
You would basically want to save it for when Butcher exposes himself.
Yep.
All right. I think I'm confident leaving this at good, but I think it's on the very playable side of good.
See,
I could play it against him, because especially if he runs the Iron Fang Pikeman, Razor Wall is really going to hurt them getting anywhere.
It really
decent.
gums up the works.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Playable or good then?
I think it's playable.
that was my consensus.
Yep.
I concede to playable. I think that makes sense. Sorsha 1. Does she?
I'm just fine.
You're just fine with it?
Yeah, I think it's playable.
I think if there's a random hill perfectly placed on the table and she can feed on everything, then maybe it gets not as good, but it's probably still fine. All right.
No, she does scare me.
She does. She's a little scary.
She's such a good underplayed caster.
Well, how about this? If she stationaries you and Disruptor bolts Axis, can you recover? Because the Enigma Foundries don't get to activate next turn because she can see them as long as they're within range. So you're going to have to leave them way far back. And she usually plays pretty much a gun line.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets to take another turn because you get no focus, can't break. Well, actually, if the corollary already had focus on it, you could shake the jacks, but Axis couldn't do anything.
Yes, but I think it's semi-recoverable from it. I mean,
It probably
you have
is.
to play a good game. And it depends on how quickly she's able to feed.
Well, if you're jamming that hard, she's going to be able to feed as soon as she wants.
Yeah, well, she'd have to feed bottom of 1. If she doesn't feed bottom of 1, I'm in her business.
Yeah.
And that is assuming I go first. Now, if she goes first, anything that goes first really changes how this list works.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a momentum list. All right, I think it's okay to leave that at good, probably. It's if you play smart enough with Axis, I think you're all right. Krios 1.
Same thing goes with Sorcia.
I think it might be a little worse with Krios because he's going to have Redeemers.
Yep.
And 2 Redeemers are going to do a lot of work against that list.
Yes, they are.
So are Errants.
So are Errants who get to quick
kill
work.
like 20 models.
Yeah, he might actually just take like 30 models off the table.
Yep. Yeah.
I think he's probably worse than Sorcia. But not by a whole lot. But I think she's a borderline playable already.
It's all playable.
So playable Krios. Don't give him too much. Force him to feed early.
Mm-hmm. He would have to feed.
He's also feeding. He's up close to your shit at that point.
Oh, yeah, but there's no guns on the list, so can you really punish him for it with all your shit's knocked down?
The crab jacks don't get knocked
down.
The
floaty jacks or whatever.
No, the floaty ones.
Oh, the walkers. The walkers don't get knocked down.
Heavies
They're all
can't be
steady.
knocked down.
He's only got floaties in his
both
list.
Okay.
Yeah, conservators are floaties.
Yeah.
Can they? I mean, but in the end, you still got to get there. And there's going to be dudes in front of him when he's done feeding. Because the Redeemers could just walk up and basically shield wall in front of him and drop rockets everywhere.
Well, it's almost the same thing you said with Sorcia. If Axis saves his feet to counter that, and the corollary had a focus on it.
Well, no, it's not the problem of being able to shake necessarily with Krios. But it's because Sorcerer's actually just does nothing because he's disrupted.
Right, yeah, that's true.
As a Krios player, I'd be kind of leery with the Razor Wall.
Maybe.
Of course, I like Exemplars, so...
That's true, yeah. We're talking like standard gun line with the possibility of pop and drop. Maybe a heavy hitter Reckoner somewhere. All right, moving on. Fiora 2. I actually think this could be bad.
Yeah, I don't want any part of fire.
Yeah.
Judicator with fire plus 2 Templars possibly, or probably 1 Templar. Yeah, I'm going to go bad on that one, I think.
Yeah.
This is where LeConte comes in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And welcome to heavies. Congrats.
Yeah.
Harbinger.
I actually love the matchup against Harbinger because she has to feat turn 1.
If she goes first though and feats, it becomes a scenario game the opposite way. I think.
If she goes first and feats, then I guess that I can go bottom of 2, and then I can feat, and her stuff's going to disappear. That's 46 attacks, and 20 of those are sprays.
Are you getting to her though?
Do some damage. Yes, I can get to her on that. I love the matchup against Harbinger.
Because you're literally not moving, but 4 inches on turn 1.
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
All right.
Because that turn 2 would get real nasty. Because she gets 2 turns in a row, then immediately I get 2 turns in a row with my feet. And I think my feet is stronger than her feet. Because my feet, I'm killing stuff. Her feet, she's just...
I don't know how much you're getting to her. I guess we're probably thinking about different Harbinger lists. What are you thinking about?
I am thinking about the typical... I have a lot of solos Harbinger lists that see it a lot in hardcore.
Probably more in hardcore, yeah. Though I'm thinking like standard Errants, Tuft with the book, like 2 Reckoners sitting back, maybe a Battle Engine.
What about Tyr with 5 Paladins?
I think, Tyr with 5 Paladins. How do you feel about that?
That'd be all right.
Really?
That'd be fun.
Can you kill 5 Paladins under Martyrdom? Who just stand in a circle around Harvey so you can't get to her?
900 attacks.
All right. Well, they're incorporeal. What are you going to do? Keep spraying.
Dump them up.
No, well, in
sort of
impervious wall.
It can't be hurt by anything but magic.
Yeah. But
which is what the
I think regardless, it comes down to can she kill your army before
21, though.
Something else happens. I probably think not.
Melee.
And, well, I think my recursion mechanic's better than hers.
13s.
Oh, yeah, it's the mechanic is stronger in the long game. It would just be that if she could pull off an early scenario win by jamming past the flags or something. But if it's a scenario with a large zone in it, I don't think it becomes an issue.
And that game is decided on who wins the die roll.
Maybe, yeah. I think if she goes first, it's actually a game. I think if you go first, it's probably not that bad. What do you think? Playable or good, Jason?
I think it's playable.
Playable.
That's what I thought.
I agree with playable.
No. I originally had bad, but I have been persuaded.
All right, Jason, so this will really test your opinion of casters. Mother Directrix.
Ugly.
Ugly, bad?
Ugly. She takes off more models off the board than any caster I've ever seen. People have underestimated what she can do by herself. I guess were you watching Watt's first game of the Masters at DICON?
I wasn't. We had to leave at the end of Saturday.
Okay, he was taking off 8 to 12 Banes a turn with just Mother. By just her. Nothing
Is
else.
that, what is that combination? It's her gun and
Shrapnel?
Shrapnel Swarm?
It's her gun and Shrapnel Swarm.
What's Shrapnel Swarm do? Let me look at
That's
real quick.
1 damage
but-
to everything underneath it.
Yeah,
And it's a 4-inch AoE, but he has to directly hit. And then her gun is a 4-inch AoE that's POW 15.
Wait, yeah, it's AoE star, center 4-inch AoE on the model hit after resolving the damage roll. Models in AoE suffer 1 point damage. Oh, so you roll damage first, and then then you puncture for 1. So you could actually do damage to the main target too.
And what people don't expect is that she has her two little bots.
Her harm bots, yeah,
Her harm bots. She can cast Shrapnel Swarm through them.
yeah,
So they
and
can
her
move over
jacks
to the side.
too.
And her jacks. And so she can lay down, 2 boosted Shrapnel Swarms a turn, as well as her gun.
Yeah, throwing the gun somewhere.
And that's taking off a lot of dudes.
You can, especially on lists that like to jam you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm sold on that bad.
Yeah, that's
That's bad.
I had a good matchup for me, but that's because I ran all jacks pretty much. Father Lucant, can you kill anything?
I can't kill anything, but I think that I can move quick enough that he can't get to me. I don't think he can take off enough. I mean, it depends on which. There's a couple different Lucant builds that are going around. I'm partial to the Prime Axiom build because people have to really worry about that Prime Axiom, especially with being repaired by 6, 8 dudes in repairing. And
Tends to stick around.
it tends to stick around. It can do a lot of damage, especially with positive charge hanging around.
Okay.
It would be semi-playable.
Going second. Axis goes second. How does that game go?
I can still gum him up to where hopefully it just comes down to can he kill that many models a turn, and I believe that he can. If I go second, any list I think that I go up against and I go second, and I know I'm putting a lot of stress into the first die roll.
Right.
But
I'm just thinking induction nodes with that many heavies bouncing induction all over the place. How many attacks he could actually generate in a turn? Because if he hits, they're dead pretty much, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
I think if you go second, he gets into the zone and grinds it out.
I think Convergence matchup is going to be Lucant. That's what you're going to see. And it's going to be
It's going to be tard fights, yeah. All right. So you think it's playable?
If I was locked in, I think it's playable.
If you were locked in because you would never... Okay, yeah. Every scenario that we're talking about this is the pairing, regardless of how you got there. Regardless of who tricked you and Jedi Mind tricked you into dropping this list.
It's playable. It's not my favorite, but...
So you think it's on the bad side of playable, maybe?
It's on the bad side of playable.
Bad side of playable. All right, I'll agree to bad side of playable. Everybody else?
That's when I'm going to have to get Axis involved, and that cat can take out a lot of dudes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Till he gets Watchered and knocked down.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
All right.
Watcher's such a good spell.
Moving on to Bart. Galleons with Hot Shot will probably kill a lot of dudes.
He's going to kill a lot of dudes. Again, it's forcing Bart to feed early, and he's going to have to feed early. No matter first or second, he's going to have to feed. He may even have to feed. He could probably feed 2 then.
Probably feed on 2 because as he gets enveloped. It also depends on what Bart list you're playing. I usually think of Josh Maxon's. I think I've seen just because hardly anyone plays it. It's the only one I've actually seen play it competitively. He takes Nomad, Vanguard, Galleon, Nis, and Ion and Hold. I think. No, Gun Mages. Sorry, no, he takes Gun Mages. So that's actually going to clear out some dudes pretty early. It's really, I think, if he can get the Nomad into the zone before you jam him. So once again, it comes down to the scenario. Some scenarios that's going to automatically happen. You can't stop him because the scenario is like 16 inches up, and there's just nothing you can do about it. I think if that happens, it goes bad because that Nomad's like arm 22.
I had it as a bad list for me.
Okay. I had it as playable, but I was taking heavy, so I think it's bad. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll say
If
bad
you're
for
playing
this.
tier list, I don't think it's a good matchup.
Gorton, I had down as bad, but once again, I was playing heavies. His feat could get him back in the scenario, just as far as not losing, and the Earthbreaker in the zone is going to be there for a while. What do you think?
I like my chances against him.
I think he lacks the amount of attacks to remove enough models a turn in his general list.
It's definitely a possibility. Andrew?
I think he has the speed issues too, even though he has the decent feet.
Right. Well,
Whereas
I think...
you can swing the speed in your favor, obviously, with Axis feet.
Right. Standard geometry turns, you start 31 apart, you AD to be 25 away. You'll run forward, you're about 13 inches from his front line. The Earthbreaker's going to have to run turn 1. There's just no out for it.
Yeah.
But then you're going to envelop it Gordon's going to feat to try and clear it up to get it into the zone. Or maybe if he has another jack or two, that might happen. I don't know what else you're going to see with Gordon. Probably Chaosies. Because solid ground Chaosies are good. So if Chaosies can make a nice screen wall and don't die immediately, it's going to be annoying. Can you deal with Chaosies in your list? They're not Iron Flesh, so they're only 14 and 16 in melee.
Yeah, I've got the Razor Ball.
Okay, that's a good point. Well, it'll stop them at least. Make them run around it. What do you guys think?
I think it's playable.
Playable? Yeah. 2 playables, 3 playables. Playable it is.
I think 4-star could be a little bad, but as...
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on how easily you can get rid of the Chaosies, because they will at least slow down the jam, like kind of like what the Satixis might have. Exelon Thexus. This is probably a bad matchup for that guy, is what I think.
He is squishy.
Yeah, I haven't even opened up my no quarter that has the little... I have it. It's on my shelf, but...
You know what he does, at least?
I know little bits and pieces.
You've heard the rumors, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not out yet. I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly my thought. So that's what I thought about Convergence for the last 8 months.
He is out.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. I don't adjust my play. I have it down as good. He's basically going to take a bunch of dudes without recursion. He's got some sprays in there, which will be really annoying. But
a lot.
He has a lot of sprays.
That's true, yeah.
And he has a really good board control feat where he pushes everything 2 inches wherever he wants. That would line up some nice little, pizza slices in some places, and you just spray the shit out of them. I don't know if he can chew through it, though.
I can chew through his heavies with dudes.
Oh, yeah, his heavies go down. Yeah. They're not tough.
Yeah, the heavies aren't what I'm worried about.
It's the infantry where he's got sprays on every third model. Maybe not that many, but still a lot. He's probably got, 12 sprays in the list, most likely.
Well, if he gets desperate, he can spray a whole unit at you and just lose a unit.
Oh, that's true. That
chain
one
weapon
unit.
heavies.
And, of course, he's not getting dredges off of that list.
What do I have, 20 sprays?
He might have that many.
No,
Yeah.
he has
20.
that many.
I have 20.
Jason has 26-inch sprays.
But Thexus could have
Thexus
that
could
many,
also
too.
have 20.
Yeah.
Nah.
But he can't
Well,
put
that one unit can spray 3 times.
Yeah.
And then just overlords, right?
It's actually 3 4-inch AoEs.
Oh, is it? Okay. I don't know. I think it's probably fine.
I had
no
good. Because
I had good originally
Thexus
as
himself
well.
is squishy.
I didn't think about how many
out.
sprays he has in his list, but
that doesn't matter, though, I don't think.
yeah, his dudes are pretty squishy. Yeah. You're probably fine. Your damage is going to stick and his won't, and I think that'll catch up to him too fast. I think it's good. Hexeris 2 from Scorn.
Well, you skipped a line.
Did I?
Syria.
Yeah, no one cares about Red or Circle or Legion, so...
Yeah, I hear Circle's terrible.
Assyria.
Hey, I am not offended.
Are
by
we
that.
talking in a tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not worried about any red player in a tournament because they don't show up.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
How many tournaments have you played in that you ran into a red player?
Let me think. There was one at the tournament
Probably one.
yesterday. There's probably 1 per 10, I'll give you.
Yeah.
There's 12 factions, though.
But you gotta realize, though,
Is
that
your plan for Rask to dodge him, too?
I
we gotta
agree.
talk about it.
that you can always plan to dodge certain things.
Right. I mean, we're talking about the matchups. How you deal with it is different.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I completely understand. But, I saw a ret in the mat, and don't get me wrong, Pagani won, I don't even remember what he won, but he won it not too long ago with ret, so.
Temple Con.
He has a
Yeah.
hypnotic gaze or something, though, so it doesn't really matter.
It's those beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
And it's the hair.
Or the lack thereof.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it? The Paul Giovanni look is coming back.
That's what I've heard. He's going to kill us all.
Maybe. But he's in Texas, so he'd have to come up from the pit of hell to do anything about it. He travels, doesn't he? I shouldn't probably say that.
Yeah. You have a qualifier here.
Just because people from Texas came last time doesn't mean they're coming again. All right.
I don't like
Are any
this
on the
list
Des Moines
any
list?
ret matchup, just due to the fact that I think Axis, I know you guys don't think he's squishy, but I think he's on the squishy end.
No, I've had Butcher die to gunline assassination, and he's squishier than Butcher. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but
The shield guards do help, but
shield
not
guards
against...
help, but also the wreck marker helps where he's defense 17.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking Mage Hunter assassins.
Right.
Or-
But they're all dice off 7, so they're
Mage
really
Hunter
not
strike
doing
force.
a whole lot of damage. I think Assyria is completely playable.
I think she's playable, but that's still, I think she's playable.
I think the one that actually might be bad is later on down the road, Ossian, but
I don't know.
that'd be maybe the only one.
I had Ossian down as a bad.
Just because Shatterstorm on good guns is a complete huge problem for recursion.
It does kind of damper your spirits on that. I'm okay with Virus too.
In Virus, I think I put down as bad, but honestly, it's playable, in my opinion. I don't think he really has anything that specifically does anything special against that list. That's too many dudes. His feat's really not that effective because you're completely jammed over the top of all of his Griffins.
Yeah, the Griffins don't get to the dudes to do any work.
Yeah, I think that's a fine matchup, honestly.
Very good.
Keep it out of the zone pretty easily. It might make a difference on whether or not you get the die roll, but either way, I mean, because the Griffins aren't slow.
Yeah, more importantly, Virus doesn't have anything to do with that many guys.
Right.
He'll just never eat it.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll eventually even if your charges do 1 or 2 damage to a Griffin, you'll eventually kill it.
Well, he just doesn't have enough focus. I mean, there's literally no way he can clear enough models.
Right, I agree. I think Virus is a straight-up good matchup.
Yeah.
Back to the Assyria, though. I think it's probably playable for the Assyria player, but it's really how the list is built. If he just has a sea of dudes with guns, it might be interesting, because he could kill a lot, but I think unless he's building like that, it's going to be good for you.
He plays against the chain attack list, then I think it's
yeah,
it's just a complete loss for Assyria.
If you do nothing but melee troops, then it's probably a complete loss.
Razor Wall good.
Yeah, I guess we'll probably put that in a good matchup for Assyria. Ossian, when I do the list pairs, I usually try and group light casters into groups and then pick what I think is the most common. So Ossian and Raven were kind of in the same group, and I just went with Ossian because he's seen a lot. If it was Raven, I think this is a different discussion because, basically dead-eyed guns everywhere.
I think Ossian is maybe the worst matchup in Retribution for that list.
Just because...
Shatterstorm.
Oh, I forgot.
He cycles it and kills 15 to 20 models a turn.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about Shatterstorm.
So get busy on that one.
Yeah.
It's a reason why Sorsha 2 would be bad, even though she's not on this setup.
Yeah.
Because she usually takes plenty of guns.
She also stationary a unit in the middle and clog you up pretty bad.
Super annoying.
Yeah. I got to stationary some Warpborn Skinwalkers like 3 times in a row today. It was really fun.
That doesn't tilt anybody.
Yeah, he didn't look upset at all. My favorite was I was playing against Signar, and I stationaried a unit of Boomhowlers 4 turns in a row, and he was completely boxed out of the scenario zone. I was just controlling it for 1 every turn. It was so bad. And I made the comment, Boomhowlers is the best jam in the game. And he just looked so pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about Ossian? Do you think it's playable? Or Max? Max is our resident rep player here, so...
I think it's bad.
You think it's bad?
I think that's probably the only really bad matchup in Retribution for that list.
See, it's good we talked about this. You thought this was awful for you.
Well, he thinks, no. He just thinks he can dodge it.
You can dodge
fair
it.
enough.
Yeah.
I think you still drop Lucan regardless, so...
Oh, yeah. Even if I have to cheat and do it, I already played it.
I just marked the numbers wrong. Yeah, I'm playing Lucan. That way I won't die to your stupid fucking mage hunters. Alright, so bad matchup on Ossian. Moving on, Morvana 2. Can she grind through your grind?
No.
I agree.
No.
Yeah,
Primal Trample.
Death Knells, unless she just goes nuts with Death Knells and gets perfect scatters and just blows up like 5 or 6
You
at
can
a
only
time.
do one a turn, though. It's
Is
a
it a
4-cost
4?
spell. It's a great situational spell, but it won't attrition very well because it's once a turn.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be able to grind through it fast enough.
And I'm not too worried about the tramples.
I wouldn't either because you just kill it right after it kills 6
absolutely.
models.
I totally agree with that. The thing I feel most about this game is that it won't matter who's better at attritioning because this is going to go to clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's either it's going to be dice down or death clock. So you need to stay ahead on the clock. Don't care how many activations you skip. You need to be ahead on the clock the entire game.
Yep.
But I do think I think it's a good matchup because she can't kill you in the time allotted. Chromac, Berserk could help. Plus Warpath would help.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he can pull it out in the end.
I put bad, but honestly, it's probably at least playable. He can do some funny things on his feet turn, like clear paths that you don't want cleared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Primal Getter
that many rifts can
That's
be
true.
a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he can yo-yo those stalkers into those Enigma foundries after he's cleared our way for him.
I had good matchup for Chromac because I'm considering my list had 3 countercharging inverters with auto knockdown. I was like, if I roll a 7 on any of
That's
those,
true.
you lose a heavy, and I
That
win
is
the
true.
trade.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my thought process. Anyway, Chromac, I don't know. Warpath plus Sprint can get a lot of work done. especially with berserking.
Yeah.
Things on feet turn kill things. +2 strength is even though none of his little guys hit hard.
But what's their mat though? Are you going to hit
6,
reliably
they'd
enough?
be 8s.
Hitting on 8s, they go up to POW 14?
13 if you're talking about the reach shield wall troops. 12 on the reductors. They have a POW 13 spray.
Okay.
I don't think it's bad, honestly. I think it's playable. It's probably not just a free win, though.
I think it's playable. And I think it really determines on how good the Chromec player is on getting sneaky assassination runs. You agree, Jason?
I do. I think on that my feet turn, my Kohler goes to POW strength 8.
Nice.
Them bashes.
I did watch a guy try and bash Butcher 3 to death, and he only came up like 1 point short.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, well, he was already at like 18 down. The corollary did like 1 on its charge and then didn't kill him. He's like, no! Please just die.
And your dice minus 12?
Yeah.
No focus.
Here's praying. Okay, moving on. Kruger 2. I put playable when I was running my heavy list because I just didn't know if you'd be able to stay in the zones. With that many dudes, I don't even know if he could stop you from getting in the zone. And if it was Kruger 1, I'd say terrible matchup. Because he's like, here's my 3 OEs around my army, and then I'll chain lightning 3 times, and you're like, ugh.
Bleh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Chromac 2 is very, or sorry, Kruger 2 is very, very playable.
I agree. I think
It's
it's
not
borderline
really
good. Yeah, I think it's borderline good. He just can't kill enough guys, is my thought. Stormwall does nothing, really, against you. Actually, it literally does nothing against you. I don't know. It's just if he could do TK bullshit to get to Axis, which is possible.
And I have a couple jacks around that could hopefully hit it hard enough to knock out a system.
Right.
Or knock out a...
Yeah, I think, once again, it goes down to player skill. I think it's probably generally favoring you, but not by enough to make it good.
Yeah, playable.
Yeah.
Veil 2.
I'm not a fan of Veil 2.
Really? With
No.
this list? I thought you were talking about how it'd been doing good against Legion.
It is.
Of all these casters, I expect you to be like, I'm looking for Veil 2. Like, that's what I expected to hear.
I can jam the tar out of her, but she can kill casters. She can just take off
Shield
the board.
guards don't help you. Well, you could just camp 7.
I can just camp
6.
7, but I've
6,
seen
sorry.
it happen more often, or 6. If I'm camping 7, I'm cheating.
I think there's a difference. Yeah, I think there's a difference between I'm scared and I got diced. I think there's a difference. Arm 23, he's got what, 18 boxes?
He's got 18 boxes.
Yeah.
23 dice minus 8, and she can only do 2 boosts.
I don't think that happens.
The Blitz don't kill you. Unless she's picked you down with other things, then it absolutely kills you.
She has no way to strip your focus. I think you literally just put 1 on the corollary turn 1 and bounce that 1 focus between all 3 of your jacks for the rest of the game. And just camp 6. Push dudes at her. I think you win that game.
You gotta throw some battering rams out there and clear the
You
zone.
gotta throw battering rams at the zones. I literally think you can just stay far enough back to win that game. Or else Veil 2 would just win every matchup.
She should just win every matchup.
She does win a lot of them.
I can't imagine.
Do you like her against Sorsha?
Veil 2 against Sorsha?
Fuck that stationary feat.
I have Tempest. Moving on, Saren. I think this is worse. I do think this is the one you should be scared of, because Scythians with Bloodbath, that can't be attacked for a turn.
And also removed from play.
And also removed from play or bad. Yeah, removed from play bad.
Bloodbath isn't a big deal, because you're never going to get that chain attack.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Gets to an Enigma Foundry.
If they're getting to my Enigma Foundries, then
you've already
It's
lost.
priority
I've
over.
already lost. Because they've got so much else to worry about besides those Enigma Foundries. The Enigma Foundries are the last things on their mind, because there's so many dudes up in their business.
Alright, moving on. Thagrosh 1. The only thing I might think in this, if he's got 2 or 3 Scythians, could be an issue. Because he's going to bring 1 back. But, I don't know.
Playable.
I think it's playable.
He doesn't
I think it's bad.
have enough attacks to do anything, to be honest.
He does usually bring
That's
a lot of
actually
heavies.
kind of a Legion problem against a list that has this many models.
That's the thing is, their heavies don't hit hard enough to be heavy killers. They kill heavies, but they can't break armor bricks very easily. They also don't have enough attacks to deal with swarms. I feel like that's the biggest problem with Legion, is they're best against a balanced list, and you're starting to see a lot of skews in 2014. Alright, actually, the next line. Hexeris 2. He is the infantry clear of Scorn, but...
Not that much infantry.
It's a lot of
Yeah, he can only cast Ash and Ashes.
Once a turn, except for feet turns
Feet
twice.
turns twice.
It's not
Black
enough.
Spot, though?
Black Spot helps.
Cycling Black Spot plus feet? He could do a lot.
It really depends, I guess, how you're
He
playing.
can take a lot off.
He can take a lot off. I don't think he can take enough off.
Is he of anything that removes from play? Good enough to matter?
Nope.
Probably not. I'd probably agree. I mean, because you're going to see some Drakes with him, probably.
If you're playing him in a skew list, because that's your Crix drop, yeah, he might be able to, because then he's got Venator Reavers and things like that, and then the Black Spot becomes a serious issue. But if you're playing him to try to be an all-comers list, where he can kind of take care of the troops, but then he's got all these beasts to take care of heavies, he's got zero chance to deal enough damage.
Yeah.
It's playable.
I think playable.
I don't think it's necessarily good, because it all depends on how the list is built in the end.
It's probably on the good side of playable, but it really does come down to list construction. Makeda 2. I put good.
I put good, but that chick can do some damage.
Yeah, also I was thinking I would have 3 countercharging inverters for when Malik Karn tried to go for me, but...
Yeah, Malik Karn's going to have, again, there's too much forward.
His priority list is like 10 feet long, so...
Yeah.
As long as you stay safe and put enough dudes between you, I think it's good. Trollblood's Madrak 2. This might actually be an issue, depending on how he plays it. Lots of reach dudes with Thresher can do a lot of work.
I had not a fan on that.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I would not want
the feet will literally crush everything.
Yeah. And he's going to probably have 1 bomber in his battle group with Snipe. Yep. Yeah, he's going to do work.
It's going to do a lot of work, and it's going to hurt.
Not to mention, Madrak could literally just surf to Axis and kill him.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's straight up bad.
Yep.
Grim 2.
I'm alright with Grim 2.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. I think he could kill a lot, but I don't know if he'll recover from your attrition.
No.
I think he'd be jammed out of the zone,
Yeah,
too.
he normally plays out of the zone anyway, and I don't think they're going to be able to change that. They'll have like some pigs or maybe a squad of Fens run into the zone and then fail. I think it's good. Runes of War Doomshaper 1.
You know, originally, I thought Runes of War would just be bad, and it still might be, but I think it might actually really depend on if you go first or not in that list, because if you can get past the scenario zone, there might just be too many guys for them to deal with. Now, Goad's a problem.
Going first puts you less than halfway across the table. So if there's... The only way, I think, to win against this list is to get a scenario that is centered around flags on the middle or like a fire sport scenario that you can just camp on the middle flag and keep guys 4 inches from it. I think if you get a zone scenario, you lose this game, regardless who goes first. That's my opinion.
And Runes of War is a very, very hard army to play.
Yep.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It takes a lot. I mean...
You should see Ryan play it.
Yeah. There's Runes of War, then there's Jason Flanzer, Runes of War, which, I mean, congratulations to him on winning Texas Con. So, did you guys
No,
know
we didn't actually hear yet. I saw that they were playing for it, but I didn't know who won.
Yeah, he won Texas Con. So I've only seen him lose with that army one time, and that was at the WTC. He runs that just.
Yeah, I remember him saying he was almost played out on it, so he was trying to get away from it. But he said he was bringing it back for this event.
Mm-hmm. It worked for him.
Did he qualify then?
He has qualified, yes.
Okay, I didn't know if he had already done it or not.
So I guess now he's officially qualified.
Yeah.
So there's no points that he has to worry about.
So back to the Runes of War, the way we always do is we assume player skill is exactly identical. So same amount of plays on the list, same overall game time and player skill, knowledge of the rules, etc.
I would have to go playable, but on the bad end of playable.
I still feel it's bad, just because I don't know if you can kill a Mulg, but I don't know. It depends mostly on the scenarios, the problem. How many scenarios are going to be favorable to you to where there's no big zone? It's incursion, fire support, close quarters.
There's about 6 to 8 scenarios I'm happy with.
How many units of Clockwork Angels were you playing in your list, Jason?
2.
I am playing 2 units.
I don't know. He also might be able to eat a little bit into your pile of dudes and then go into the zone. And also, you got to remember, he gets the free wall places, which will help. Depending on where they go, could help him with the armor. I just don't know if you can kill those heavies. I mean, I don't think he kills you. I think it probably goes to clock, but I guess I'm okay with playable on the bad side. What do you think, Andrew?
I agree with the playable on the bad end. I originally had bad for it because this is the one that drops 3 rock walls a turn too, right?
Drops 1 rock wall, but
it gets 2 permanent walls.
2 permanent walls
within 20 of its table edge, which is usually in the zone.
Yeah.
If there is a big zone. And then it also gets Janessa's wall every turn.
Okay, yeah.
The problem would be is it can't really kill a whole lot. It depends on how well the Rune Shapers do. If the Rune Shapers just go boss and kill everything, then it could be different. But yeah, I'm going with playable on the bad side. Because
RuneSaper blast damage needs 8s to kill any of those troops, whether or not they're in shield wall. So it's not amazing. It's really whether or not they hit single target, which they should most of the time, but that's still not that many models killed.
I think it really is just neither one of your lists can kill the other. It's just a big fucking dog pile.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's
I don't know. I almost feel like you really can. In that matchup, you can play for a later feat and try to use Axis's +2 strength on his feat as your opportunity to do as much damage as possible. Mm-hmm. So I think just jamming him means he can't get anywhere.
Yeah, I
don't think you need the -2 speed on his army when he can still move.
If you can set the line of engagement beyond the scenario several inches, I think you win the game. If you can't, I think you lose. Because it goes to time, and both people lose when it goes to time.
That's the way I think it should be.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I think you should play Death Clock or not. If you play Dice Down, and you get called Dice Down, both players lose. Unless one person's up on scenario points, I guess. I could see that.
No, both lose.
Both lose. Play hardcore.
So I could be that guy that knows he's losing.
And just run your caster to the corner and be like, suck it.
Yeah. If I'm going down, you're not playing either.
Final matchup, Rask. Inhospitable Ground's the only thing I can think of in here that would matter.
I have Pathfinder to the
He's
whole
got
army.
True Path.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about it.
The Onslaught.
Wait.
No, not
Yeah, no.
It's Onslaught.
The Angel has it. What's Onslaught do is just control area.
All models that begin a charge get Pathfinder.
Well, and then just the floating heavies have Pathfinder naturally.
Well, I'm not worried about it. Jacks are literally just bodyguards. They don't do anything.
Yeah, but the Enigma Founders have Pathfinder. The Jacks have Pathfinder. I can cast that spell and give anything that needs to charge Pathfinder. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah, he has
about
no way to get to Axis in that list.
Yeah.
Unless
And the ambushers could be a problem coming in from the side.
The way I usually see it played is the 3 squads of Gators, 1 squad of Shamblers, the Witch-Doc Croc, and then a couple heavies, usually Snapjaw. I don't think he'll take ambushers. And even if he did, you just send a squad of guys to go deal with it and recycle it.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's A-okay fine.
Yep. So that concludes our list pairing. So, reading down, all 3 of our Signars were playable. Krix was playable bad. Kador was playable good. Menoth was playable bad playable. Convergence was bad playable. Mercs is bad playable good, so a nice mix. Rhett was better than expected with good, bad. Circle didn't seem too troublesome with Morvana being good and then 2 playables. Legion seemed actually pretty good too, except for Saren. Scorn seemed fine. Trolls, you just watch out for Madrak pretty much. Maybe Runes of War. I guess specifically looking at Krix, possibly Mercs with Bart. Mother, obviously, Madrak, and Ossian. Do you think that Father Lucant is the correct list to pair this stuff with?
Yes.
You do?
It's the correct list to pair everything with.
It is. It is, but I think he also mentioned that he'd be looking towards this in more of a 3-list event.
Right, exactly. I totally agree with that.
Whereas Mother probably has much better game against the Krix matchups than Lucant even does.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel that Mother you would never consider Mother and Axis as a 2-list pair? Because I think she fixes probably your Krix matchup and your Madrak matchup. The only thing you might still be worried about is Bart. If you have Colossals, Bart's not going to kill your Colossals.
Can also just dodge Bart.
Exactly. Dodging Bart is
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad matchup. Mother versus Bart.
It's not a bad matchup, but
She'll just
you're
him to death eventually.
If there's a Galleon out there, he's going to die.
Exactly. You're going to backlash it and kill him over the course of 2 turns. Doesn't
Elimination servitors for the win.
Yeah, those things.
How do you play
good.
Mother, Jason? Do you play her with carrier group?
Carrier group a couple times. It's fun. I think it's semi-practical, but it's one of those things that make your head hurt so bad. It really, really destroys Warmachine. If you're running a non-character Warjack and you bring that thing out of your deployment zone, you're dead.
Yeah, you just gave away the game.
Yep. The way we had 2 Prime Axions and a monitor, and the Prime Axion would throw the monitor. And since it can't be knocked down, now I can arc through it. I hit your guy out of the deployment zone, walk him forward, turn him around backwards, backlash him, and shoot him to death, turn bottom of 1. And that's bad.
And that's if you don't leave your deployment zone on bottom of 1.
Yeah, you don't leave your deployment zone, or else I am pulling your jack out and just blowing it away with elimination service.
What if you have nothing but Indictors who are purity? Can't backlash it.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Is that a bad matchup?
I'll just dodge them.
Dodge it. Good plan.
I think she really likes. I think the Assimilator was made for her. That's the jack that gets to put the 4-inch circle out and hit everything inside of it. Due to her having fire. I also like her with the little electrical jacks.
Oh yeah, the modulator. Yeah.
Modulator. Yeah.
I watch Jason.
I like him with Syntherion a lot.
That extra 2 inches does a lot for her. I mean, I know she's a Matt and Rat 5. So you may have to boost a couple shots. But if you can hit, that's POW 10s all over the place.
Isn't it 12s? The assimilator? Ground Pounder's 12.
Simulator's 12, but
okay.
It's modulator.
The modulator is POW 10
Oh, the
electricals.
lines. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking the AoE.
I would like her paired with Axis. Essentially, with Convergence, you're going to see LeConte and something else.
Right. I don't disagree, but I think you could get a good coverage with those two. If you're looking to play Axis, if you like him a lot, I think you get good coverage with her as well. Mm-hmm. Looking at it, though, if you do LeConte, what is your LeConte list? Just generalized, not too specific. How many heavies? You take Prime Axiom, blah, blah, blah.
I like LeConte with Prime Axiom and an inverter, just due to the Watcher knockdown.
Right.
And then, I mean, even Prime Axiom, boosted attack and damage rolls, it's going to knock a system out. So,
right.
Or at least you can hold, as long as you don't roll a strange column.
Yeah.
He also gets a unit of instructors and a unit of reciprocators. But I'm thinking of dropping the reciprocators and put it in eradicators, because I think eradicators with him.
Yeah,
they
that's
move
what
up
I
the
really
board.
like with him.
They move up the board at arm 20 with deceleration up, and that's pretty good with 8 box. And with positive charge, they're going to do some work with 2 attacks and sidestep.
With the ability, especially to be Mat 11 at that point.
Yeah, Matt 11. Are you kidding me? Matt 11.
Matt 11 troops.
Matt 11 troops.
Someone had to do it. All right, yeah, I definitely dig LeConte. I mean, you'd be stupid to think
and
he's
then
bad.
2 Enigma Founders to bring everything back.
Yeah. What? Recursion, good. News 11.
Rick's Recursion. Yeah. And
all right.
then,
so do you think you would run into any kind of list chicken matchup if you've got, for instance, your Axis list is a sea of small bases with 2 basically support heavies, and your Axis list is basically all beef? Do you think you ever see a list chicken matchup? Like, do you or is it just obvious, you think, in every pairing?
I think it's almost obvious in every pairing. You know, if you're going up against Crix, you're going to drop Axis. If you're going up against Signar, you're going to drop LeConte, no matter who they drop.
But now that's actually a good thing for you, because they will actually have to look at it as a list chicken point of view, because if they're looking to kill your dude swarm and they drop and you drop LeConte, you're screwed. If you're looking to break LeConte and they drop against your dude swarm, they're screwed.
Yes.
So you're in the optimal side of the list chicken matchup. It's like Meanoth usually is. They're like, well, I've got 2 amazing all-comers lists. What? You picked wrong. I win.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I think Convergence is going to have game. You're going to start seeing them a lot more, because I think Pagani's getting ready to start rolling with them again.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to see, I think that they have such a high-end skill cap that good players are going to be really, really good with these lists.
Yeah, they're going to be rewarded for their choices in the faction.
Again, there's no low skill cap. You have to know what you're doing before you pick up the Convergence. It's gonna break a lot. A lot of people are going to see, big stompy robots and go, ooh, I want this faction, and it may burn them out of the game. So it would not be a initial faction for anybody. I wouldn't suggest it.
Right. Yeah, I totally
Absolutely.
agree. Yeah.
But as soon as Will Pagani picks it up and puts his lists out on the internet, I feel like you'll see a lot more people play them.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a huge disparity when you're playing somebody playing Convergence in a tournament. It'll be somebody that has no freaking clue what they're doing, or somebody that's fantastic at it.
Right. Like, for instance,
and it's going to be a walk in the park, or it's not.
We had a guy pick up Morvana 2 at the store, and he started with her, and he didn't know the rules very well. But he was just kind of, like, skimming through rules and playing them how he thought he worked. And he was just crushing everybody, and then I played him, and I was like, dude, you're not doing half this shit right. I started actually correcting him, and I basically just crushed him with random crap, and I was like, wow. It's like, this is not as scary as when I play my friend Ryan, who usually destroys me. He's like, I played Colin at Recruits, and he kicked my ass, and I was like, wow, not even close.
Yeah, but you were mesmerized by his voice.
I was mesmerized by his Aussie accent, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Same with you, Max. I saw it.
Yeah.
I did lose to him the turn before.
Just move your caster up. And you're like, okay. All right,
now,
Jason.
one Axis list I was going to try was Axis with the Colliery and then 17 Galvanizers and a unit of mechanics.
We put that together for Syntherian,
Yeah,
actually.
we did that with Syntherian.
For,
no, there was a couple
synergy
inverters
spam.
in there. Yeah, there was a couple inverters.
Yeah.
But
To anchor.
17 Galvanizers to just start pushing people out of zones and saying, what
bulldoze,
now?
Yeah. Well, the silly thing about bulldoze is it's once per activation, so each galvanizer can bulldoze individually once each.
I could push you from my edge to your edge in a perfect world.
Yeah, in a perfect world, you could push one model like 40 inches.
Yeah. I still think that list has some play, but I haven't put it on the board yet.
Getting back to the player skill, I talked to Jason Watt about his performance in Iron Gauntlet Finals. He said he was really unhappy with how he played, But to everybody else, it looked like he was doing fine, I think. I don't think a lot of people...
Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes. And if you watch him and Jay's game, and you really break it down, there was lots of little bitty errors, which as a medium-end tournament player myself, I think that's good and gives me hope, especially when you watch people that the higher-end players, when they go to play, you can see that they still have the nerves. They're still worried about their game. And Watt made a lot of mistakes that he has now since corrected. And even when he lost a crump at Daikon in Masters, it was due to the fact he sent some obstructors to attack a Gorax I believe it was a Gorax it may have been a Stalker. It was a Stalker that was primal, when he should have just left it alone and went and killed the dog. Killed the dog, he wins that game, because he would have another turn to deal with that Stalker. As the primal would go off, then he can go back and deal with that. But if he kills the dog, Lucan lives. He's not going to die.
I was going to bring up another point. Go ahead. Did you have something to say, Jason?
I was going to say, we're going to start seeing, I think this game's getting more and more popular as more and more people travel. I think we'll see a lot of new faces going up. I mean, Jordan Knox is the one that I bring up now. I mean, you didn't really hear of him. He was kind of local, and then all of a sudden at Adepticon, he goes nuts and wins everything. So he's becoming have you ever watched him play?
Yeah.
He's a very, very good player. Now, can he get better? Yeah, of course, but we all can. But he's impressed me a lot, and I think we're going to see a lot more people. And I have to give my shout out to Jake Van Meter. I mean, where's he been? He hasn't won anything since 2011, outside of Adepticon last year, but still.
When people go up to play Jake Van Meter, they're always like, oh, this is going to be easy. You haven't won anything in a while. That's exactly what they think.
He's like, yeah, I'm Jake Van Meter. And they're like, who?
And then their shoulders just drop, and you're like, oh, I wanted to win this round.
He did that on purpose.
Yeah. He's just making people let their guard down. Yeah, he's coming back.
Hiding.
That's what he's doing. He's going to backdoor his way in somehow and then go nuts. That's not going to happen.
Well, I agree with what a lot of people say. Is it takes a lot of luck to win an event. You know, there's the dodge matchups. Like sometimes you just can't see your bad matchup to get through. My biggest fear of the game, which I don't think is going to necessarily become a reality, is we're going to get to the point where there's so many game-defining casters. Like, for instance, Convergence, you know, they skew the meta a little bit. I'm afraid eventually we'll get to a point where you just straight up can't cover everything. Like, there's just no way you can cover most of the field, and it's just going to be whoever dodges best wins. I don't want to see that happen, but I don't know if we're going to ever get there.
I feel like that's a long ways away.
I agree.
See, I don't think it's that far out. I think if you look at the casters that have come out, and was it Vengeance? Is that the last book that came out?
Yep.
Yeah, Vengeance. Those are some power casters. All of them are very, very strong. Well, most of them are very, very strong. There's still there that I kind of snicker at. But then I've also heard that the next Hordes book, all of their casters are nuts. I was told if you thought these were good casters, wait till you see what's coming.
Well, I'll be interested to see because I wasn't impressed by Borka. I mean, he's got some cute things he can do, but
I do feel Borka was a slight letdown, but I think that's because our hopes were so high.
I think they made Borka so people would buy the Mountain King.
I could see that. I made a list for Ryan yesterday. It's Borka, Mountain King, 4 Axers, Creelstone, and something else too. Anyway, it's basically you put a muck on the Axers, let them do work, and it's a delivery system for the Mountain King and some Thresher guys.
I also think it's his tier list.
Yeah, exactly. I think the tier list is going to make that guy. I want to see what it is. I think it's going to be caster defining.
I think there's some new casters on the horizon that are coming. I mean, I don't know how far away we are, but I see a 2.5 or a 3.0 coming. It may be a couple years down the road, but I
agree.
I think the writing's on the wall.
Probably not next summer, but maybe next winter. I could see it. It's still like I compare this game to everyone compares it to 40K at times. The difference was like we would come up with like weird formats and stuff just so we didn't have to play the normal game because the normal game would get boring because it's just so repetitive. As where this game, it might be repetitive, but it's the subtleties that make theirs. There's no subtleties in 40K. It's all just repetitive movement. It feels like.
But I agree, and I feel 40K suffers from the latest Codex trend where this game does not.
Yeah.
It suffers from bad rule set.
It suffers from really bad rule set.
To be fair, they're not terrible rules. They're just dated.
Yeah, if dated is in like 1940.
Now, I think High
Command
is getting ready to make a good resurgence.
Yeah.
When I say resurgence, it hadn't been out long enough to need a resurgence. But some of the rule sets and expansions are really opening up that game. I played another game last night with some expansions in it and actually had some fun. Before, it just felt like it just took too long to play.
Exactly,
I might as well take him a Warmachine.
It's a little too dry and a little too long.
I really think it's going to get there.
It's definitely a chance for it.
Tactics is a blast.
I haven't gotten to play it yet. Been looking at it. It looks fun.
Looks good.
Do you know if they have the what is it called, asymmetrical turns, where you can like do your turn end and your opponent can do their turn wherever they feel like?
Not yet.
But that's planned.
I don't know if it's planned or not. I believe it is planned.
I thought I heard it was, and if it is, that's gonna be awesome because I can play games with my friends over the course of like a week or something.
I just wish it would come out on the iPad, and they said there's no need for that. Then
oh my god, I don't know if I'd ever get anything done.
You'd have to buy an iPad.
That's true. I have a 10-inch tablet.
I would have to delete Hearthstone to put that on there.
I would have to delete Hearthstone to put it on there. All right, so I think we've gone over Convergence good enough for today. Give some people some ideas, hopefully. Let them know that there's more than Lucant Mother.
There's Cytherian.
There's Lucant and Cytherian and Lucant and Axis.
And Cytherian in tier is really good.
Oh my god. He's like a Doomshaper 1. I don't know. You're not even going to play him as Cytherian. You're going to play the Great Machine. Like
every time.
Yeah. There's such a small reason not to.
I think all of the theme forces, I shouldn't call them tier forces because that's not what they are. All of the theme forces are very good in this book. And I'm an anti-theme force kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I wish they were in the back of the book so new players that pick up a book don't see those first and say, oh, this is how I have to play this
I
character.
do agree with that newcomer thing. To be fair, in this game, if you don't have the buddy system of someone helping you when you first start, you're not going to stick with the game. The odds of that are like literally zero. To be honest, you should be asking your buddy, hey, what are these theme forces about? And he's like, close that book, let's go back to the wall, and I'll pick you out some gun mages. It'll be fine. Like, it's basically what should happen. It's like, but these trenchers have knives. Like, yeah, so the gun mages, they'll be fine. Just pick up the gun mages. I do wish there was a little bit more competitiveness between the entries in the own book. Winterguard versus Cossite Woodsman, but I know you're on the Cossite Woodsman side of the fence.
I love that unit. And I've just lost all credibility with everybody. But I love that unit.
That's why we're going to put this at the end so they don't turn it off at the start.
Here.
I like I told you before, they've always gotten their points back or gummed up enough that makes it work. Now, they are 6 points, and they're in a faction that has some of the best units in the game.
Yeah, I do feel the argument that Khador tends to get to the 35-point level and go, well, I'm done, but I still have points left. I do agree with that, so I can see where they fit into some certain lists. My Sorcia list originally I built had Beast 09 and a Conquest, which is literally 30 points of Jax, and I was just like, this seems fine. Like, I just put it in because I was like, I'm out of points. I have my Winterguard, I have my other dudes, I've got these guys, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm going to eventually find a list that I'm very happy with them in. Like, I'm okay with them in any list. I want to find a list that I'm really happy with them, and I'm going to kill somebody with them and let them know about it.
And then you're going to post a poster of it, like, somewhere in your game store and be like, so-and-so killed by Cossite Woodsman.
He's got a collage.
Yeah.
But again, you got to think, everybody thought Assault Commandos were trash till Will Pagani put them on the table with Vlad, and then everybody was like, oh, look how good they are now. It's a matter of...
Did people say that? I never heard that.
Yeah, they are very good with
Turns out Signs of Importance is a turd polisher.
Signs of Importance is the thing. If Denny didn't exist, you're like, yeah, I'm going to use my Boomhowers to gun you down. You're like, what? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, you have Withering. That works.
Other people can deadeye them.
Oh, that's true. You can deadeye them.
I love this game. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's a trump for every trump.
Yep,
and you just
absolutely.
shift with the meta.
And the best part is, like, skill is by far the most impacting part of the game.
Yes.
Like, you can't just be like, here's your Tyranids, walk forward and declare melee attacks. Like, okay. Any closing thoughts, Jason?
I really don't have thoughts.
Fair enough.
No.
Andrew?
My thoughts are usually bad.
Jason's drained all my thoughts. So.
He's been just sitting over here fuming since you got on.
He's always been good at that.
I could only imagine what he's doing. The torment that I've done to that poor man.
Oh, I have seen things that cannot be unseen.
He can tell all sorts of Tate stories.
Yeah.
Let the podcasters know.
They've been told.
On the podcast?
No, not here.
I was explaining to them last time you were in town, I was like, Tate's really matured a lot. Last time he was here, he only flashed a room full of men and, like, got a waitress to come back to the game store. It was pretty tame.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know I got him to come back to the con.
Yeah, I haven't heard any recent mushroom stampings to random people playing computer games.
This has been Brandon.
This is Max.
Jeremy.
Andrew.
And Jason.
Thank you for listening to Learn to Wargame. You can find us online at l2wg.com, Facebook, twitch.tv, YouTube, or Google+, and most importantly, l2wg.com for all of our content. Thank you.
What do I do with my hands?
You have to wait until we're actually starting.
I thought we were recording already.
Oh, we are recording.
We could put it.
That's all that matters.
Oh, no, the one where we didn't make the joke, it's definitely there in the background. Because we're talking about something, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like, well, where's everyone laughing at? And then I was like, oh, that's us doing that stupid thing.
It's gonna happen every podcast.
I know. Fucking laptop here. Too much shit. There he is. Hello, please.
What's that?
Hello, please.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going pretty well.
Can you hear everybody all right?
I can barely hear him, and I'm cranked.
Cranked?
He's got his volume at max. He's also done about 8 hits of acid. I don't know.
Lines.
I prefer cocaine.
All right.
That's a designer drug.
Can you hear everybody, Jason?
I can.
Good. Jeremy, can you raise his volume?
He's at max now.
All right, keep talking.
I can always keep talking.
Can you hear him fine now? I can hear him okay. You can't? Is he at max?
Pretty sure I was
that's louder.
cranking somebody else.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm thinking,
Oh, that was me.
Can you hear okay?
God, I can
Oh,
hear.
I can hear fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew says he doesn't like talking to
I did
strangers
this
over the
yesterday.
internet.
Well, we better get used to it.
Have you figured out who it is yet?
No.
It's Tate.
God damn it.
I called it!
That's exactly what he said you'd say.
Anything else you want to say right now?
No.
Damn it! You're supposed to say fuck, and I was going to get the trifecta because I guessed the first 3 words you're going to say. Fuck, God damn it. It's going to be amazing.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. What the fuck is that?
It's a Sharpie. You can kind of write with it.
I'll be right back. I can get
Just carve it into the table. So right.
These are my answers every week because I carved them into the table. So I'm going to do whatever I can to force an edit every 5 minutes into this podcast.
You're just going to sound like a dumbass. I ain't editing that shit. We should probably come up with a new topic then.
Okay.
But since we haven't played any Convergence, then we're probably going to be off on some of these.
Yeah, now, the biggest problem is I haven't dropped it against many of these. I've only played this list twice.
Right.
And it's Legion both times. The way that my list works, it's a huge jam scenario list. And it tilts you. And in this meta that we're in right now, I think Convergence is getting ready to rise to the top, if not be the best faction. It's being completely championed by Jason Watt. And I don't think it's the best faction out there. It's just people don't know how to deal with it yet. Mm-hmm. It's so brand new on the scene in a competitive setting. And they don't even have their battle engine out.
Yeah.
And Axis loves that battle engine. That's going to be his favorite little tool. But I think you're going to see Kador is going to be able to bring Assassin back out. Because the meta is going to have to shift to deal with Convergence.
I agree.
And so because Assassins they're almost not playable right now due to the fact of how easy they are to take off the board.
They're actually in my list pairing right now.
When the meta shifts to have to deal with Convergence, which they're going to have to shift, or it's going to be a hard time.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing another resurgence of some older models coming back out that used to be good that aren't as played anymore. Mm-hmm. And as a Convergence player, if I play Crix, I'm dropping Mother. I think she...
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
She makes Crix cry.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
I like Severius. Or not Severius, what the hell am I thinking? Syntherium.
Syntherium just looks too fun to play.
With multiple modulators.
I watch Watt play him, and I'm just like, God, it looks so fun. What'd you get for D?
Number 5.
Number 5. What'd you get for number 5? Jeremy, that's rude.
Playable.
How many you got left? All of them?
-1.
I've done Warmachine.
Nice. All right. We'll probably go ahead and start that.
He's looking for Magnus.
So have you thought about what you might pair this with, Jason? You think Mother?
It would probably be either Mother or Father with this pairing, due to the fact of the way that this list is built. Chances are I wouldn't bring this list to a two-list tournament. This would be my 3rd list in a 3-list format, because I think that Mother-Father pairing right now is just so over-the-top powerful, or even Father-Syntherian. It's just, I think that's what Convergence is leaning toward at the current moment. Axis, I believe, is their 4th best caster, just ahead of Aurora, which I think is she's bottom of the barrel. And when she first came out, everybody was all on her because of how fast she could hit. And she could hit fast, but she's semi-pillow-fisted. That's her biggest problem, is cracking a caster's armor if they can. Or at least that I've come into. And I have not given her a fair shake, because she came out of she's the second caster we got. So
yeah, just after the battle box.
Yeah.
I went in real heavy. I have 5 units of painted angels, and I was running her in tier. I haven't experimented much outside of her tier, and so I have not given her a fair shake. But
I don't think much in their army makes that good a use of transference. I guess some of the medium troops might.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. It sounds like we got some good info to cover. Are we on episode 6?
Yeah.
I think we're on 6.
37.
Okay, I was just getting... How did we lose like 30 episodes?
No, 7.
Are we on 7? Why are we...
Because we have lost episodes.
every like 4th one is a lost episode.
Oh, you want me to play episode 6?
Yes. Was it like the preamble to this?
No. It was episode 6 last week.
Oh, that's true. I haven't edited that one yet. So we are on 7. Things are going fast. Thank you, Jason. I'm glad we got a podcast in.
Oh my god, I have to pee so bad.
Why?
You got a cup right there.
Andrew won't be on the podcast anymore then.
Yeah, we're literally going to lose Andrew, so...
No. He's fine.
Andrew doesn't play games, though, so it's not a big loss.
We need to keep up our demographic of the Irish.
That's true.
Hey, now. Only half.
Tate, do you fit in any ethnic groups?
Yeah.
Cracker white.
Cracker white. All right, well, we've got too much of that, so can you be Arabic?
Sure.
Okay, we've got our Arabic. Do you remember Baker? He's our black man.
Okay.
You don't know this new guy. We call him Twiler because he looks like an emo kid that dye his hair black. He is our Japanese guy, I think.
I think we
He's
just
yellow,
said.
either way.
I think
He's
we
a yellow.
just said
Yeah.
Asian.
He's Asian, and then now we've got our Arabic guy, and Andrew is not white, so we're good. He's like, Tate's a common first name. I was like, fucking for who? There's no fucking person named Tate.
Yeah. That makes me smile every time I think about it. Because I'll send him a text every so often. It's like, "How's your wife and my kid?"
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. He's like, no, it's a common name. I'm like, it's not a common name. Jeremiah is a common name, and no one names their kid Jeremiah. How much time are you getting off for Gen Con? Like, exactly enough?
I mean, getting off.
Wait, yeah, you're off in the vacation, right? It's summer.
Yeah, it's summer. But no, we start school our first week of school is the weekend of Gen Con.
How about you leave a couple days early and come see us?
No. That's the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Gen Con's like
Come on,
3
it's a few days. You can stay here.
Yeah, he's got to go
I can make a
past.
day trip to Gen Con.
He has to like go past Indianapolis.
It's just south. You're going north the whole time. It's got to be a decent route. Tate, man up.
No.
It doesn't cost you anything but gas. Come on.
No, just get him to come for the Midwest Melee. That's September.
You have to come for the Midwest Melee, Tate.
That I may do, because Chuck won that free ticket, and he may transfer it over to me.
Nice. Sounds good.
Chuck.
If we get a
Is
location.
Chuck going?
What happened to the spot by tabletop?
Oh, did you? Hold on. No, I think we're still good there. By the way, did you see that picture of Chuck with his shirt off?
Yeah.
For a Daikon? Did you see my faces in that fucking picture?
No.
If you look to the left, I'm just there playing John, and it's like, he just got his shirt up over his tits, and I'm like, fucking great. It's Permanent Carnage. It's just snapping photos of me and him, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, all last night I was getting texts from Chuck. He's trying to convince me to go to Vegas with him and some of the Dark Omen guys, Anthony and Berger. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. I like my marriage and I like my job.
Yeah. Joe's so easy to get into an argument, though. Like, we had a thing called Joe baiting. You would get someone else near you and be like, come here, let's talk to Joe for a second. Like, convince them to come over. Like, Joe, isn't this true? Like, you really hate this, right? And he's like, what are you charging? And then you just slowly back out and just leave them trapped in an argument with Joe. It was so funny.
My favorite thing was asking him how planes fly. Because he'd start going into this big, long, like how the air does it. And he looks at me and I just look at him and go, magic.
Oh,
He bought those air purifiers at one time that people would write the nuclear marks on in case of a nuclear disaster. Press this button. That man, we tormented that poor guy.
Somebody went to Taco Bell. That's the nuclear disaster.
Yeah. It's called Miracles, Jeremy. That was a pleasant surprise. Tate joined us for that, right?